This is Anahata Graceland with the Talking Dog Show. Today we've got that age-old problem of shedding. Believe you me, I did not enjoy in my younger years going out to the car to go out for dinner with my beautiful black cocktail dress on. I'm in my 70s. Back then, that's what it was. And I'd get in my car and have a roller in there to just, get all the hair off. Or before company would come over, I would have to go around and vacuum the couch out and get all the dust bunnies out and all of that. Sometimes I would even sweep under the couch. Listen, we don't have to live with that. Since then, I've learned the most miraculous way to stop shedding. I didn't know shedding was an issue that is actually solvable, and it is. I'm going to show you an out-of-the-box, absolutely proven method. I've been a breeder over 50 years, and it took me a long time to get this recipe, and it works. I promise you, it works. Stick with it because the video is long, and the reason why is I'm not doing this video just for views and all that stuff. I want you to really get something worthwhile. And the methods that I share in this video throughout, and I know it's a long one today, okay, but the methods that I share work. Hey there, don't forget that you can get your free guide and product list of everything that I personally use. And I want you to know that, listen, it took over 50 years for me to gather all this knowledge. Please make good use of it. It's free. Just go down below, click the link, and get your stuff. And you'll have fun seeing the other things that I make as well. All right? Have a great one. Thinking about it, I want to just say that let's take a moment and think about your dog. And I know that sounds funny because we want to handle shedding, but it's real easy in any relationship to go, I don't like this, and focus on what you don't like and fuss at it and try to get them to change, etc., etc., etc. And we all know that doesn't work with humans. It doesn't work with dogs either because we're ignorant. When we're doing that, we don't understand what's taking place. Now, it's different with a dog because you're not just talking about emotional things or something like that. You're talking about or conditioning of their lives and their histories or things they suffered in the past. You're talking about something else. You're talking about really the ability for the hair to stay where it belongs in the dog's skin. We're talking about creating a healing environment for that hair and that skin to work together to keep the dog in with a great coat that's supposed to be protective for the dog and help keep it with, great temperatures, etc. Why do you have your dog, right? You have your dog because you love your dog. Or maybe you don't. Maybe someone in the family loves their dog and you just want to get rid of shedding. Okay? No matter what, no matter who you are, this is going to be outrageous for you. We're going to show you today, I'm going to show you today, how to reduce your shedding at least 60% and more than likely 75 to 80%. And I'm not joking. It's very specific reasons why. We're going to go over 3 of them. And one of them is something that you might wonder why. We have ritual. So why is ritual important? Because it has an effect on all of us. When we know what to expect, we know when something's coming, when to look forward to something, when to prepare for something we don't really like. And dogs are just like us. And many dogs, believe it or not, suffer anxiety, and their people don't know it. So that may be hard to hear, but it's true. Dogs oftentimes are kind of like birds. They just don't show it when they're disturbed. And instead, they'll go to sleep, they'll go to rest, or they'll run around and you think the zoomies are just the zoomies, and they're more than the zoomies. And when you finally start noticing it, you think it's shedding that is the issue. And shedding may not be the issue. The issue is anxiety, often. And I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to show you some pictures here that I want you to understand for a minute, because it helps to understand the actual way that hair grows, how it stays in the body when it's healthy, and when it's not a healthy skin and hair follicle, what happens. When anxiety hits the system, a couple of things happen. Epinephrine starts being produced. Epinephrine is, you got your combo of adrenaline and cortisol, okay? And those are not good things. Those are incredible stress hormones, okay? They do not do good things for the body, not for our bodies and not for our dogs' bodies. So what happens is, and you can see the pictures over here, is, and I'm just going to leave the picture up there of a really healthy skin and hair follicle so that you can see that while I'm talking, so you can understand. And in a minute, I'm going to shift that picture. But right now, when cortisol and adrenaline or epinephrine hit the system, what happens is the hair follicle starts to dry out. So around it, it starts to inflame. But the actual hair itself, due to inflammation, ends up being cut off from certain nutrients and moisture and all the things that would normally be there in a healthy situation. And what occurs is it falls out of the hole. Okay? It shrinks up, and the skin, instead of being malleable and flexible and moving with everything that happens in life, cracks, and instead it just sort of falls apart there around the follicle, and the hair falls out. That's the second picture here. Take a look at it. It's pretty powerful when you see this stuff. I want you to understand it because I want you to understand the science of it. We won't go too heavy into that, but I want you to grok it, right? So rituals with your dog are really, really valuable. They help the dog understand and count on you. And that increases their trust. And trust relieves anxiety, okay? Is just that simple, folks. Now, there are rituals for feeding, rituals for bedtime, all sorts of rituals. I'm going to go over one that has to do with, of course, cleaning your dog, because there's one ritual that I absolutely adore with my dogs, and it is like their bath time, which I don't do baths and sinks 99% of the time. I have my famous Royal Frenchel bath. And what I do is I have 4 towels, hand towels, and you might need one big one and 3 of the hand towels. I lay one across my lap, and I have a warm bucket of water, and I have a warm bucket of water with a little bit, just a few drops of Win dog shampoo in it, okay? And that shampoo is not shampoo. It's completely oil, okay? So the first thing I do, this is such a loving and wonderful moment with my dogs. I absolutely adore it, and so do they. So the first thing I do is I take a mitt, right? And I'll get, down below is a link, and you can go and see a list of everything I use and all of that good stuff. I would love for you to. It's free. You can get it, and I'd be more than happy for you to have it. And some things I actually make a little bit on, and some things I don't, because quite frankly, they don't have what they call affiliate marketing on some things. So, but they're still really good for you to use, so they're in the list, okay? But here's one of my old used mitts that I have, and they don't have to be really special and do all these great things. You just need to have a mitt for a moment that allows you to massage your dog, and I like that. to not be, super rough in any way. So I like a mitt that's a little softer, but that actually does massage the skin of the dog. And what I do is I start up here on the head and I rub the head and I go down and I massage the neck right under the ears and I massage the neck in the front and the chest. And then I go around underneath the armpits and I come back up to the back and I get all the neck and I get all the back very slowly all the way down, and I just discard the hair that's there that's coming off. I continue to massage. I massage and I massage. I even go all the way down to the actual toes. I take my mitt off for the toes and I actually massage the toes. Now, so I go down each leg afterwards, feet last, okay? Obviously, because they hit the ground all the time. Now, the next thing I do is I take one of the hand cloths and I put it in the bowl with the water and the little bit of Win dog shampoo. And then I take that, I swirl it around, I put it up on my dog, and I do the very same exact massage. But this time with the towel that has the Win shampoo in the water, the warm water. Do the same exact massage. And while I'm doing that, I will tell my dogs and occasionally look in front of them to see their eyes and they see my eyes. And I tell them something about my day and then I do something very unique. I ask them about their day and I just stay quiet for a moment while I'm doing the massage. And I just allow whatever comes to my mind to happen. It's fine. You're not going to hear some little cartoon tell you about something they had in their day. But essentially, you're opening your mind and your brain. Science has proven that when a human being and a dog get together and they give attention to each other and they care about each other, that their brains actually synchronize. Isn't that crazy? It's wonderful. So you want your dog and your brain to be able to synchronize. And what happens over time, by the way, in doing that, is you will begin to intuit things that blow your mind. Like you'll go to the door thinking, oh, I got to let the dog in. But they didn't paw this time. They didn't tell you they wanted in this time. This time you went to the door, opened it, and lo and behold, they were just walking to the door. Or various other things. You'll know suddenly your dog has to go to the bathroom, but they're laying down. They just woke up maybe, or maybe they're not awake at all, but you know that they may need to go to the bathroom. Or maybe they're playing with a toy and they stop for a minute and they're sort of looking and then they go back to their toy and you suddenly sense they need to go to the bathroom. These are some of the gifts of the exercises that I share with you. And I really want you to gain them because when you have access to these brains united, life is a lot of fun. And we'll talk more about that in another video. But for now, what I want you to understand is that you're just connecting with your dog. And when you do that and your brains synchronize, this is a very deep relaxation for your dog. I mean deep. Okay, your dog, remember that your entire life is all about you. And I mean, I hate to tell you that. You say, no, it's about my kids, it's about my husband, or my husband says, no, it's about my kids, it's about my wife, it's about my business, it's about this, it's about my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my whatever. Okay, but the truth is, to your dog, it's always about you. In other words, you picked out your dog, you give them their dog beds, their foods, their place to be, when they're supposed to be there, when they go out, when they come in, where they go in the house, who they meet, who they don't meet, etc., etc. Now, that's not a bad thing, right? Everybody knows that. It's just kind of the way it is. However, unfortunately, it trained us to be pretty stupid when it came to giving our dog loving attention as a person, as a canine person, okay? They're a different species than us. They're an alien to us, but they are still an alien person, okay? And so the rituals and the things that I share with you in upcoming videos that will be there for you, are rituals that always connect with that bonding element because it makes amazing changes in your lives together and for you personally. So here you are, you've done the massage with the mitt, you've done the massage with the soap and water, and now you do the massage last time with just the plain water, warm water, your rag, etc. And then the last hand towel you use, you dry them and you do the same massage again. Now, notice what your dog enjoys when you're doing the massage. Do they like it more up here behind the ear, or do they love the chest and they just kind of hang back and put their head back? Or do they lift their leg, their back leg, and want you to do more on the inside of their thigh? You know, these are things to notice. Become more intimate with your dog, okay? My little girl just wanted to get up. I'm just going to include her. I hope you don't mind. So, this is my service dog, Nobo, and she's a great gal. I'll tell you about her more sometime. She's a little Royal Frenchel super micro. But anyway, okay, so you've done your massage, you've done all of those things. I want you to know what you've just done is give your dog one of the greatest supplements you could ever give it to relax, to calm down, to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel trusted, and most of all, to feel seen. Okay? Now, remember these pictures that I showed you a minute ago. They're real. Every time you do this ritual with your dog, you are completely loving that skin. You are feeding that skin because you're touching it and you're giving it lots of love, but you're bringing blood flow up to the skin. And remember, on a human, the skin is the largest organ of the body. And I don't know, I think it is in a dog as well. So we really want to nourish it. So that's step number one. Now, I'm thinking one of the things also that I want to add, and I don't want to get, as I said, I don't want to get too far into the science of things, but when I'm thinking about it, you know, when a dog is anxious, they actually produce the two hormones I mentioned, epinephrine and cortisol. They also start producing an excess of oil. And it's not oil that you can sense in the skin, but it's an oil that actually causes inflammatory process. And you don't want that. And you also want to understand that it affects the immune system heavily. So those hormones can damage a lot. They cause the body to have really unstable cell walls, right? And so the immune system drops. And when you have the immune system dropping, you have an increase in allergy and secondary infections, things of that nature. So I want you to understand that, you know, consistency with your dog and rituals with your dog that make them fun. You know, I have a ritual every night. I get into bed, and I've never been the person who said, don't eat when you get into bed past 7 o'clock or something like that. I don't know. When I finish my work day, I like a little treat. And I get up in my bed and I have my little treats, and I have treats that are perfect for them as well. And me and my dogs have a ball. We play for a little while. I watch them with their toys, and I have my treat. They have their treats, and it's the most fun. I'm telling you, when I have a long, hard day, all I do is keep saying, it's okay, it'll be bedtime soon. It's okay, it'll be bedtime soon. So look forward to your rituals. Don't do them as hard work, okay? Look forward to them. Remember, every time you look in your dog's eyes, every time your dog looks in your eyes, both of you increase in, oh, oxytocin. There we go. Thank you for your patience. Oxytocin. And It's pretty wonderful. So both of you have a mood shift, right? It increases that great mood. Feelings of love and affection are much easier with your oxytocin, and the cortisol drops at the same time 30% as well. That's just looking at each other and playing with each other. You don't even have to play. I mean, you can just look at each other and be affectionate. It works just the same. Okay, so rituals work, and they're a powerful additive to the things I'm going to share with you today. Do not think small of them, please, because your dog is a being and it relies on you for its life. The way we've structured the world, dogs are not in the wild, they are here in our lives. And they rely on us to provide an environment in which they can flourish. And flourishing means they get seen. Nothing likes to live around someone. You know, it makes me think of those movies where there's somebody who works for some rich person and they have this whole thing going on in their life. Some child they're sending money home for, hoping to get the child brought to America and all of that. And then this, you know, idiot rich person is completely devoid of any awareness and just has them work more and more and more. And everybody knows this archetype, right? Everybody knows this type of person. And so, you know, we don't want to be that way with our dogs. We don't want to be, you know, basically enjoying them for a couple of rubs on the couch, or laughing at them when they go play with a toy, or taking them to the park so we get our exercise once in a while. We want to be in relationship with them. They're family members. We want to know them better. So almost everything I share with you will always have some element of that in it, because we want to be responsible people with those people in our lives. We love good relationship, right? And we are devoted people, right? And we haven't been aware that dogs are one of our people. We've been around together for over 3,000 years. We've formed this miracle of relationship that we have today. We've gone from being way outside in the fields, you know, fighting for our lives and hunting animals, into the farming life and protecting animals in the field of, you know, herding and all of that, to on the front porch and in the yard to get rid of rodents, or to push our carts, or to carry our carts, etc. And then finally in the house. In over 3,000 years, we no longer need a lot of those jobs. Today, we have opened up the can of worms called the intelligence of our dogs. And we use them for amazing, amazing work. Do you know AIs are actually being trained by dogs today? That the way dogs respond to changes in the earth, like potential earthquakes, is being studied by AIs so they can actually incorporate that knowledge inside them? Listen, dogs are phenomenal. They can detect cancer at astounding rates, cervical cancer 100% of the time. All kinds of cancers, all varying degrees, but many of them better than any machine can do. So, listen, dogs, I know I'm going off. It sounds like I'm off topic, but I'm not, because I want to impress upon you the value of really hanging with your dog on this level. You're not just dealing with shedding, you are dealing with your dog. A dog who is a person to you in your family, a family member who's suffering, and you didn't know that. You thought it was just shedding. Like this damn breed that had more shedding than other breeds, you know. And that can be, you know, some breeds do shed a little more than others, but nothing. Shedding like that is not normal. Absolutely not. Next topic. So we've got rituals down, and I want to hear from you. Write some rituals below. It would be so fun for people to hear, like, the different rituals that you do, and make them. Don't worry about like anything that you write, please. Rituals are so fun with dogs, and they can be like a 10-second ritual. Okay, anything that helps you connect with your dog, because all of those things are anxiety reducers. Remember that. They are increasers of the kinds of hormones that protect your dog's skin and hair, and you will have less of it, less of that shedding. So value it, okay? And write some fun rituals below. Okay, now, next topic, nutrition. Now, generally on nutrition, I have Arturo Chileri, who is my right paw of Royal Frenchel. You know, I created the Royal Frenchel Frenchie breed, and Arturo works with me there, and he also works with me on this show. Right now, he's helping to man the camera and stuff, but I may ask him to include himself, and or he may think that he needs to be included because I don't do as good a job as him. He's got a chemistry background. He's a professor and all kinds of stuff is his background, and he's worked with me now for, my gosh, 20 years or so now. Okay, nutrition. Now, I'm going to remind you of these two pictures because you have a healthy hair follicle. And by the way, when the hair is growing, it is receiving nutrition the whole time. It's got blood and it's forming itself just perfectly for a perfect fit inside that follicle, right? And if what you do is have skin that is really well nourished as well, that skin is flexible, like I mentioned earlier, and it is capable of holding on to that hair. Okay? If it gets crusty or starts dying off, is lacking the nutrients it needs to do its job, it doesn't. What it does is break, and the hair recedes, it starts to shrink, and it breaks apart above the follicle, and lo and behold, the hair falls out. So I want to remind us of these two images right now because I want you to understand that one of the biggest impacts you are going to have on your dog is nutrition. And I want you to know that I have worked with hundreds and hundreds of dogs since I started the routine that I use today. And I am telling you, I have 75% less hair, less shedding in my kennel than I have ever had in my entire life. And I'm going to share that routine with you. And again, look below for the link because you can go and get everything that I use. I'm not going to take my time to go over all the pieces of what I use here because there's no point to it. I can give you a list. And also, you can always contact me for a consultation. I'm happy to always meet with someone on nutrition. I also have a team. I have a veterinarian and I have certified nutritionist, and that would be more than happy to help me if I ever got caught with something that you needed that I didn't know myself. I would use my team. So please always feel free to contact me, and just go down below, click the link, and when you get your list, you can even drop me a note if you want. Okay, so by the way, I would use this stuff first before you see me for a consultation because, you're looking at approximately 90 days in all with this routine that I'm going to give you and or finish giving you, and it will work. I've never seen it not work. So if there's any issue or anything, then you contact me or contact me anyway for anything you want. But regarding this, I want you to give it 90 days because why spend the money to consult with me if you don't need to? Let's go. What you don't know can not only cause skin issues, but it can cause death. And I don't say that lightly. I really don't. I cannot tell you how many dogs I have seen die prematurely and die from illnesses that have come from food and improper additives in food. It's like there are things like corn and soy and cereal and byproducts which are horrible that they put in foods like, rice bran is not horrible, but, the hulls of oats, right? And, things like dogs. People don't realize that, when they say 20% animal meat or something like that on your bag, that can mean dogs that were euthanized at veterinarians that got put into the vats with the $4 billion industry that does all of this and makes, in quotes, protein out of it, right? Roadkill, animals from the vets, etc., etc. Now, I'm not going to go into that horribly. This is not, it may be the month of Halloween, but it is not time for you to hear all of that. And I will do a video on that, and I do hope you watch it. I have a wonderful vet friend of mine, Dr. Taylor, who will be coming on, and we're going to talk turkey about all of this. No pun intended. Anyway, okay. So these additives cause all kinds of nutritional issues. The protein is not, it's an abnormal or a weak protein. So what happens is the cell walls inside the body are not well. Again, the immune system drops, inflammation increases, massive inflammation. And let me tell you, a lot of those dogs that were euthanized at a vet, well, obviously they had medicine to euthanize them, but they also many times were euthanized after having had medication over a long period of time. And they've done tests and determined that they found that medication and remnants of these things inside dog food. So please take this seriously, because they will bill it and do all this massive marketing that catches your eye and looks so sweet and is the right colors and says natural on it. And it is, for them natural. But they're putting all these additives and fillers and buying poor quality meats and things that go, or proteins that go in that food. And the result is your dog's immune system fails. But it doesn't look like it fails. Let's say you've got a 2-year-old dog. You're not going to see those things in the body then. You're not. You're going to see shedding. You're going to see the things, because right now they still have that youthful bounce. They still have lots of energy of youth, and they're going to do everything that, looks normal. And you're going to think that shedding is just the breed. No, folks, that is abnormal. It is not normal. And so what you want to do is treat that. And you want it, and you may not even notice dry skin. But I'll tell you something. What you might do is smell your dog, because a lot of dogs that have yeast buildup and stuff smell like Fritos, and bad food will cause them to smell like that. So just take a whiff and see, does your dog smell like Fritos ever, or something around that line of smell? Then you have something off. So again, this will really help tremendously. So it lacks the protein, and it lacks the proper fatty acids. Like you'll see, there's all this fatty acid, really healthy for your dog on the label and everything. But then when you look closer, you find out it's omega-6, not omega-3. And the omega-6 is in this huge amount, and omega-3 is very tiny. And unfortunately, you don't need the omega-6 at that level. You need the omega-3 at that level. And so, or not you, your dog does. And so instead what you have is this overabundance of omega-6 that they're getting constantly. And then their entire inflammatory system blows up. Okay? It blows up. And their immune system is in shock. Okay, and the follicles are shaking in their beds and literally just withering like plants without water. Typically, you want 1 ounce of water for every pound of your dog's weight. And they can have more, but you want to have a minimum of that. because you need that for the skin to stay well. Okay. So back to the omega-3. And again, Arturo does such a great job with this, and he has shared with me so many ways. But I really wanted this to be great for the average folk out there, and I'm more like that, and he's more science oriented and would be like a classroom going to a professor. So I figured this time I'll do this because that's all you need. And if you want further depth, we will do a show with Dr. Taylor and Arturo and myself, and we will share really in depth some of this stuff as well. But for now, our whole goal is to stop the shedding, okay? Cut it back. It also causes food sensitivities, all these additives. Things like, everybody knows about BHA and all of these things, and food coloring and food dyes, right? So you might be really good to notice that on the label, but you're not going to notice things like 20% meat necessarily when in fact it's something really unhealthy. Or maybe you think that oat hulls, oat is great, but then you find out it's oat hulls, and it actually is stressful for your dog to have that in his system, that these things have no nutritional value whatsoever for your dog. And in fact, the corn that is used is corn that is not even fit for human consumption. You wouldn't want your dog to eat it. Why? Because, well, where they get it from is like the floor, and let me just say this, it has cockroaches in it and junk that you don't want your dog eating at all. And it causes massive issues in their system. It generates toxicity that, again, may not be noticeable until they're much older. But the shedding is a great sign early. So be grateful that you're seeing it early and that you came hunting for this video, because the things I'm going to share with you in this section are so awesome for your dog's health all the way around while it's taking care of shedding. Okay. I talked about meat byproducts, right? Meat byproducts are these things that they call meat byproducts, but and they even say that there's, part of the intestinal tract. It can have certain amount of the intestinal tract. And well, you know what that means, right? It's allowed to have a percentage of poop in it, is essentially it. I mean, listen, at my house, I have enough dogs here that I don't need to buy more poop. I have plenty on my own, and I'm sure you do too. So essentially, additives cause massive problems. It's not little. The corn, the oats, all of these things are not helpful. Rice, all of these things are not terribly helpful for your dog. And meat byproducts are dangerous for your dog. You really want to have a food that does none of that. Now, again, down below is the link. I'll share with you everything I have for my dogs, and you can always contact me for a consultation if you want. And I deal with people with all breeds of dogs, not just with, bulldogs or French bulldogs or Royal Frenchel Frenchies. The next one is probably the most impactful of all, along with my very first item, which is rituals. Okay, love is essentially what that is. Salmon and pollock oil that's fresh, that was just caught and squeezed for that oil, is the most valuable thing for your dog you can imagine. It reduces inflammation, it moisturizes, it strengthens the skin barrier so that basically that hair can't fall out. It nourishes the entire depth of skin and follicle so that it's all plump and rich and right up against each other. The hair, the follicle, the skin at the top, everything is nice and snug as a bug in a rug. And that's what you want. The fatty acids are really, really killer in this product. Like salmon and pollock oil, I mean, pollock oil has all your omega-3s in it, and I mean to the max. My dogs get salmon oil every day, and salmon and pollock oil every day. And it balances their hormone production. It is astounding. It increases immunity. It toughens the skin, and it reduces allergies. I mean, it's amazing, amazing stuff, truly. It, you know, remember that dry skin causes shedding, okay? That you need that skin elasticity, right? You've got to have it, or the dog is going to shed, like, profoundly. So, yeah, that is just really, really vital. I am going to invite Arturo here for a minute because I would like him to share a little bit more on nutrition as well. So, I have because I'm sharing with you about salmon and pollock oil, but I would like for him to share with you also a little bit more about the importance of the entire food that you feed your dog and why that's so valuable for the skin, the hair, and the shedding to stop shedding. Okay, I'll be right back with Arturo. I want to introduce you to Mr. White AI Dog Buddy. Based on my personal service dog of over 16 years, Mr. White was an amazing person to know. And yes, I call him a person even though he was a dog, because to me, he was like my right arm, my family. It's a luxury that every dog person can afford. It's an AI that is deep and broad, allows you to carry your photos, your stories, everything about your dog into it, and it interacts with you with full memory, being able to talk to you, send you alerts, etc. MrWhiteAIDogBuddy.com. See you there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Arturo. I'm the right paw. Yeah. Nice to see you all, or nice to be part of this. First, I'll just go back to the omega-3s in the salmon oil and pollock oil and how important those are. And in traditional dog food that is out there in the market, the ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 is about 1 to 40. So 1 part omega-3 to 40 parts omega-6. Omega-6s are what contributes to inflammation in the body and inflammation in the skin for this topic. The omega-3s, there are 2 types. There's the EPA and the DHA, and those 2 different omega-3s come primarily from the pollock and the salmon. So the pollock gives you the DHA, which is the one that helps build really strong cell walls, because that fatty acid, that omega-3, is actually the building blocks of the cell membrane of your cells. So what is a body but a bunch of cells, right? Your dog is a bunch of cells. The healthier the cell, the healthier the dog. And then the other one that comes from the salmon is what controls or is stronger in decreasing inflammation. So inflammation is truly like, if you like, health in a nutshell is decreasing inflammation. Inflammation is the start of all the diseases for humans and dogs. So when toxics go into dogs, I call them toxics, and people say I shouldn't say that. But the truth is that anything that is adverse to the health of your body is like a toxic. It is against life. It is causing for a barrier for the organism to overcome. So the body ends up organizing to try to defeat or overcome or overcompensate these barriers, I like to consider them. So all of that lack of nutritional content, all of those fillers that Rare was talking about, all of those ingredients that they fill dog food with to increase their profit and lower the quality of the food are all just barriers to your dog's health. I like to consider the reality that dogs are like our little love beings. You know what I mean? They're just pure. They're beautiful creatures who give us so much love unconditionally. They don't have the mental struggles or cultural issues that humans have that cause them to get unhealthy in their minds. So good food just works. You know what I mean? It's like if you give them what they need, absolutely, they will get healthy, and it's not a miracle. So the food that we use that is incredibly vetted, that you can learn about in the link below, is made with all pure sourced material. So that's so important, that you know the sourcing of the proteins and the ingredients that go into the food, because they're the industry was created in a way back, like, pets didn't start joining our families for like until 20 years ago, really, in any significant way. Now they're in our beds. They're all around us, that we bring them to work. They're everywhere. They're so much part of our lives as companions. But the mentality and the paradigm of thought in the past was that they're these animals that could just take anything. The idea of feed it to the dog, just feed it to the dog, just feed it to the dog, right? Like this creature can just take anything. And it's just not true. Just like any of us can't take anything. So that's how the whole industry was created, in that mindset, in that idea. So the quality, the purity of the ingredients, the formulations are completely designed for profit only and not your health of the dog. So you want to make sure you know the sourcing. Now, the key things that dogs need for their optimum health, and I'll come back to this salmon pollock blend. That's really important, because it not only is nourishing those, is creating the structural foundation of the cell membrane, which is of what makes all your cells, which controls the transport of nutrients between them, inside and out of the cell, where everything is happening inside the cell, right? Your energy is being manufactured inside the cell. So all of these molecules and biomolecules have to be able to pass through that cell membrane. That membrane is one of the most critical structures of the body for health. So when you're giving it the right omega-3s and the balance of the proper omega-3s, it's incredibly, the difference is incredible. So it goes to your brain health. The brain functions better. So your dog's brain, they think better. They're more alert. They're more responsive. They're smarter, because they're getting nutrition to their brain. And it's like, dogs are smart. They're very intelligent creatures, but they need the proper nutrition to your brain, just like you do. If you ate McDonald's every day, or if you ate fast food every day, your brain wouldn't work properly. If you only ate sugars and processed foods all the time, you would not have the full functioning of your brain. It's just how it works. Your brain is part of your body that needs proper nutrition. So we want to get those good amino acids in the food. The joint health is really important for your dog. This is another really important thing, that most people intervene in their dog's health when it's late in life and too late. What is important to understand is that when you're born and you're developed, you only get a certain amount of joint fluid. It's not something that keeps generating over the life of your life or your dog's life. Is telling me from the other side of the camera, and you can't stimulate the production, which is true. So it doesn't produce. So you only get what you get, and so does your dog. And your dog is very active, and they're going to have a lot of concussive events where they're slamming into things, they're running around, and every time they're wearing on that joint fluid, it's wearing it down if it doesn't get the proper nutrition. So that's one of the things that food is lacking in, is that proper nutrition for joint fluid. If you give the right nutrition for the joint fluid, it maintains its resilience and its viscosity, and then it lasts long throughout the dog's life. So without the proper nutrition in the joint fluid, even with a young dog, they'll start to have pain. And that pain is now another invitation for more cortisol production in the body. They don't feel good. The hormones are generated in a specific way that are oriented around pain. I mean, consider it. It's just like us. When you're in pain, your mood goes down. You have a lot to contend with. You're more irritable. But more than anything, biochemically, the cortisol is replacing the oxytocin in your natural joyful state. So as that cortisol comes flooding in, so does the hair loss, because the hair loss, once again, like Rare said, is going to dry. That cortisol is going to dry up those follicles in the skin, and it's going to cause for that hair to release again. So joint fluid, another thing like that. Your gastrointestinal flora and fauna is one of the most critical parts of dog health, that they have the right flora and fauna. Now, depending on what the dog is eating, that's going to indicate what grows in their gut. So if they have the proper nutrition, they're going to grow the most beneficial organisms. If you supplement beneficial organisms, then they're going to grow those. And that's what you want, because that gut, those organisms in the gut are what determine the ability for the the lining of the stomach wall to be inflamed or not, and its ability to absorb the nutrition that the dog is digesting. So if you have corn and if you have soy and all of those fillers, you're going to grow very specific bacteria and gut bacteria that produce yeast, and that leads to even more problems and itching and allergies in your gut, and leads to that corn chip or that chip smell, what she's saying, the Frito smell that your dogs have. So if they smell like that, their gut health is off as well. And that, again, will lead to a poor stress system, more inflammation, and less skin health and shedding. So there's your gut, your joint health, your brain health. It all, I mean, like she said, the skin is the largest organ in the body, and more than likely is for dogs too. It is a living organ. It's alive, right? It's not like, I mean, it's kind of weird to think of your skin as alive, because it's like out here and it's like facing the world, right? But it is a very porous, alive organ that is here interacting with the world. So if it's not cared for, it will cause for problems, especially in your dog. There you go.
All right. Wasn't he awesome? I knew that I should bring him on, and I hope he didn't go into too much depth. It was pretty good. I thought he did pretty good. I want you to know that I'm really grateful you took the time to do this today, because, you know, people don't think about these things when they think of shedding. They just think of, you know, getting rid of the hair, of all the pain in the rear end it is to have it. And you took the time to try to figure it out. And hopefully this has touched your heart for your dog, and understanding that your dog is suffering at some level. Maybe not real bad, but definitely their system is suffering if you have a lot of shedding. And this will definitely shift it. Minimum 60%. I guarantee you more than likely 75%. I'm not joking. This is serious stuff, folks. I take it seriously. I don't say stuff I don't know. I've been a breeder over 50 years. For over 50 years, I have done nothing but live with, care for, and enjoy dogs. And I love them enormously. And, you know, as I learned things throughout the years in caring for them, I realized how ignorant we people are. And even those of us who serve the dog communities, oftentimes we're ignorant. Veterinarians are ignorant. I mean, my God, in education, they get 3 hours of nutritional training? Excuse me, I'm going to pick up my little girl. I mean, that's crazy. We all know nutrition has such a massive effect on our lives, right? I mean, everybody knows it when they just pig out on ice cream or candy. And, you know, we're at that time of year again, you know, where we have trick or treat and all those bags of candy come in, and everybody is always preparing for the day after when their kids hit school, and teachers prepare. Everybody is aware of what can happen. Well, it's no different for dogs. They're just the same. And so, you know, it's wonderful to have this information. Again, everything is down below. Just click the link. You'll go and get everything. And you'll see some other things I've done. You'll enjoy that. If I can be of service at all at any time, I would love to be. Yeah. And don't forget, down below in the comments, please subscribe too. I forgot to ask you that. Click the like button and subscribe if you would. And But write your rituals. Those are so great to hear. And I'm always intrigued by the different rituals people have. Everybody's lifestyle is a little different, and some rituals are similar, but many rituals blow my mind that people share with me. So, yeah, that'll be really fun. Please do that. And much love to you and your dog from the Talking Dog Show. This is Anahata Graceland, who Arturo kept calling me Rare, so I better tell you. My nickname is Rare, so please feel free to call me that too. All right, have a great, great day. Bye. Hey there. I just wanted to let you know I've developed a cartoon line known as Doglish to English. I did it because over 50 years I've experienced the most amazing relationships. Just my dear dogs have just meant so much to me, like yours do to you. So I'm going to disappear, and I'm going to share some of them with you while I share a little bit more about them. You know that feeling when your dog gives you that look? The one that says, I love you, but I also might have eaten your shoe? For years, we've all tried to decode those moments, the tilt of the head, the dramatic sigh, the way they stare at you and think you're supposed to share every bite of food. That's why we created Doglish to English. Not we. Well, I say we because the dogs and myself really created them. I hope you're enjoying them as they flash onto the screen. A joyful little world where the wisdom, the comedy, and everyday genius of dogs comes to life in two characters, Harry and Squish. It's not just a brand, it's a conversation. Between you and your dog, between laughter and love, between fur on the couch and warmth in your heart. A 3,000-year relationship in the making we have between dogs and ourselves. So, every mug, every t-shirt, every pint glass is a reminder that your dog's got this amazing personality and you're lucky enough to live with it. So grab your favorite Doglish mug, sip something cozy, and smile knowing you're part of a culture that celebrates the deep, hilarious bond we share with our dogs. Are you enjoying the images? They're fun, aren't they? So visit doglishtoenglish.com and bring the laughter home. Because if your dog could talk, they'd totally say, "Get the mug."